Good afternoon, brothers and sisters, and welcome to Readings with Regina. And I want to start off today by telling you about a wonderful young brother that I never got to meet in person. This is little Bobby Hutton. He was one of the first recruits for the Black Panther Party for self-defense in Oakland, California, and he was killed by the police on April 6, 1968. His birthday was April 21st, 1950. He was born in 1950, the same year of my birth. So this is April, as you know, and I just wanted to point out to you one of your heroes, okay, who's no longer physically on earth. That is little Bobby Hutton, the first recruit for the Black Panther Party for self-defense in Oakland, California, murdered by the police April 6, 1968. Yes, and if you want to know more information about little Bobby, okay, you can go to the website that's on the bottom of the screen that you see right now. It's about time, bpp.com. It's about time, bpp.com. Now, that website is run by my Panther brother, Billy X. Okay, so check it out. Notice this year is our 60th anniversary. Can you imagine that? I never thought I'd be around this long, but here I am. And that's why I want you to really know your true Black heroes, the ones that stood up and said, nah, liberty or death. We were going to make sure there was an end to the rampant police brutality that went on in the Black community because of, as I have told you in the books that I have read to you, the police started from what the enslaved people call the paterollers. The paterollers morphed into the police, and the police have been killing Black people since slavery. All right. So I wanted you to know about little Bobby Hutton. Let me show you him again. Love him. I remember when I hit Oakland, when I became a Black Panther myself, one of the first things they did was to take me to the house where he had been killed. Eldridge Cleaver was with him as well, but Eldridge made it out of the house. Little Bobby did not. And the house looked like a million birds had just beaked it. Okay? That's what the house looked like. It was so many holes in that house. Okay, where the police just shot in and shot in and shot in. All right. So I want you to know about little Bobby Hutton. That's important. Okay. Now I want to tell you something else that recently happened to me that's really just quite wonderful. I had to get my taxes done yesterday, and I went to my tax preparer, Parker Financial Services, and you know what he did? I love this brother. I love him. First of all, he's Black and he hires family. Can you dig that? Yo, an independent Black man. He gave me this book. Yes, he did. He's given all his clients this book, The Willie Lynch Letter and the Making of a Slave. Yes, my tax preparer gave me this book. Hello. And he also gave me this book. Like for free, y'all. Battle Cry, Waging and Winning the War Within. Battle Cry, Waging and Winning the War Within. Because you know, there is always a war within. I think that's part of being on earth. But in any event, I got a financial advisor, an independent Black man who hires his Black family within his business. And you know, those of you who have been following me on Readings with Regina, I always talk about how Black people We must come together. We must support each other. We must help each other. And you know, yesterday, as a matter of fact, I met these two brothers, black men. And one of them said, and I was talking my black nationalist talk to him, of course. And one of them said, well, you know, black people don't stick together. Yes, we do. I hope he's listening because he did subscribe. Black people stick together. And when you meet black people who don't stick together, you leave them. You find black organizations, black people who do support each other. Black people you can learn from, and then you teach others. This is how we do it. And let me tell you another wonderful thing. All of this happened yesterday. That's why I wanted to share it with you today. Conjuring. Conjuring Worlds. You see how big this is a textbook. An Afrofuturistic textbook for middle and high school students. Now, let me tell you why this book is so important to me personally. A student of mine that I taught 26 years ago got in touch with me. Oh, praise due Allah. She produced this book. And she said I had a lot to do with her becoming a writer. I haven't seen this kid in 26 years. Now she's all a grown woman and a wife and a mother. I love her. I love her. Now, part of that love has to do with look what she produced. And let me show you how pretty she is. I just love this picture of her. Here she goes. B. Sharice Moore. This is my student. Isn't she gorgeous? I loved it. And this book, I always be talking about homeschooling. You can definitely use this book to homeschool your children and to homeschool yourself. Certainly, there is at least one day out of the week when you and your children are together. Okay. Hopefully, it's a mother and father, both of y'all parents, together with your children. You could go through this fabulous book. It has all kinds of great materials in it, little short stories, poems, or whatever. And after the literary piece, there are questions right in this text. It's really a tome. If you don't know the meaning of tome, look it up. In any event, the questions are right there. You don't even have to think of questions, okay? For middle school and high school. And dig, middle schools and high schools are using this book. Again, Conjuring Worlds. All right, here we go. Now, because I had so much to say to you today, I'm going to skip your favorite book, The Slave Ship. I'll save that for next week because I want to get right to Linda Brent. But let me change this banner. I'm going to put up this one. What is this one? This it? Yes, Black people. Let us create a new culture that pertains to who we are as a people. Okay, I'm going to show you this particular thumbnail again. A new race of people, liberty or death. A new race of people, liberty or death. And I'm going to start to fulfill that title with incidents in the life of a slave girl. So here we go. You know, Linda Brent now has run away. She's left the plantation. All right. So here we go. Where am I? Okay. The search for me was kept up with more perseverance than I had anticipated. I began to think that escape was impossible. I was in great anxiety lest I should implicate the friend who harbored me. I knew the consequences would be frightful, and much as I dreaded being caught, even that seemed better than causing an innocent person to suffer the kindness for me. A week had passed in terrible suspense when my pursuers came into such close vicinity that I concluded they had tracked me to my hiding place. I flew out of the house and concealed myself in a thicket of bushes. There I remained in agony of fear for 2 hours. And you might notice, or you might remember, those of you who've been with me, Fred Douglass fled into the woods. William Wells Brown fled into the woods. And here our girl, Linda Brent, she fled into the woods. There I remained in an agony of fear for 2 hours. Suddenly, a reptile of some kind seized my leg. In my fright, I struck a blow which loosened its hold, but I could not tell whether I had killed it. It was so dark. I could not see what it was. I only knew it was something cold and slimy. The pain I felt soon indicated that the bite was poisonous. I was compelled to leave my place of concealment, and I groped my way back into the house. The pain had become intense, and my friend was startled by my look of anguish. I asked her to prepare a poultice of warm ashes and vinegar, and I applied it to my leg, which was already much swollen. The application gave me some relief, but the swelling did not abate. The dread of being disabled was greater than the physical pain I endured. My friend asked an old woman who doctored among the slaves what was good for the bite of a snake or a lizard. She told her to steep a dozen coppers in vinegar overnight and apply the cankered vinegar to the inflamed part. I had succeeded in cautiously conveying some messages to my relatives. They were harshly threatened and despairing of my having a chance to escape. They advised me to return to my master, ask his forgiveness, and let him make an example of me. But such counsel had no influence with me. When I started upon this hazardous undertaking, I had resolved that come what would, there should be no turning back. Give me liberty or give me death. That's Linda. Give me liberty or give me death. Whoa, was my motto. When my friend contrived to make known to my relatives the painful situation I had been in for 24 hours, they said no more about my going back to my master. Something must be done, and that speedily. But where to turn for help, they knew not. God, in his mercy, raised up a friend in need. Linda Brent, what did she say? Liberty or death. And God, in his mercy, raised up a friend in need. Now, we'll find out more about that friend in need next week when I come back on. Now, we're going to go to Ida B. Wells. Ida, Ida, Ida B. Wells, the first female investigative reporter in this country. Not the first black, dig, the first sister girl, first female that was an investigative reporter. And she had her own newspaper. All right, here we go. Now, Ida, in fact, look, I got to show you this picture of her. She is gorgeous. Let me make sure y'all can see it. I know it gets dark when I move around. That's Ida with her firstborn baby, Charles. And this is 1896. All right. Here we go. Wait, look how girl is dressed. Look how women dress. Look at that. Look at her hat. Look at her pretty blouse. Look at that. And you know she's married. I mean, you didn't have children and not be married. Not in the 19th century. Not if you were a black woman with moral fortitude. Okay, here we go. Having lost my paper, the white people burnt down her newspaper. that she owned with two other brothers. Why did they burn it down? Let me just say this. Why? Because Ida investigated lynching and came up with the truth about lynching. See, the media had been printing, we only lynch black men because they rape white women. No! Ida had went and investigated lynching, and she found out that most of the brothers that were lynched, a white woman either yelled rape. Now, and first of all, the white woman would go after the enslaved black male or the black worker on her father's plantation. Okay, they would have a little relationship going on. Might have been love. I don't know. But in any event, when they got caught, either the white woman would yell rape or her father would yell rape, and the worst white men in the world would come and take that black man and lynch him. Oh, now this was not printed in the newspapers. Not at all. Not the truth. Ida printed it. And because she did, she printed the truth. They burnt down her newspaper, and her and the two other brothers that ran the newspaper called the Free Speech were run out of town. Although Ida had been traveling, she wasn't in town, and she wanted to come home to Memphis, Tennessee. But the black people told her, no, don't come because they waiting to kill you. You know what Ida said? Well, I got a pistol too. And if they come at me, I'm going to take one of them with me. I was like, oh, right. Here we go. But she's in Chicago now, and she's working for a new newspaper. Having lost my paper, had a price to put on my life, and been made an exile from home for hinting at the truth, I felt that I owed it to myself and to my race. A race woman. She's a race woman. She owed it to herself and her race. That's how you're supposed to think, black people. To tell the whole truth, now that I was where I could do so freely. Accordingly, the fourth week in June, the New York Age had a 7-column article on the front page giving names, dates, and places of many lynchings for alleged rape. This article showed conclusively that my editorial in the Free Speech was based on facts of illicit association between black men and white women. Such relationships between white men and colored women were notorious and had been as long as the two races had lived together in the South. There was so much of fact that such unions had bleached a large percentage of the Negro race and filled it with the offspring of these unions. These children were and are known as mulattoes, quadroons, and octoroons. Dig, if those of you who've been hanging with me for a while, you might remember William Wells Brown, right? You might remember that he wrote a book about one of Thomas Jefferson's daughters. She was a quadroon, okay? An octoroon, that is very, 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 very light-skinned black person, right? They were called fancy girls, even though they were in slavery. They were a special breed, all right? And often wealthy white men purchased them and made them their mistresses. They'd never marry them, but they would have a relationship with them. You dig? You know where I'm coming from. Mulattoes, quadroons, octoroons. Many stories of the antebellum South were based upon such relationships. It has been frequently charged in narratives of slave times that these white fathers often sold their mulatto children into slavery. White men sold their biracial children into slavery. It was also well known that many other such white fathers and masters brought their mulatto children and quadroon children to the North and gave them freedom and established homes for them. Very good. Thus making them independent. All my life, I had known that such conditions were accepted as a matter of course. I found that this rape of helpless Negro girls and women, which began in slavery days, still continued without let or hindrance, check or reproof from church, state, or press until there had been created this race within a race within a race that all designated by the inclusive term of colored, a race within a race. Understand that. It was so much rape or love, whatever, between white men and black women and white women and black men. But you see, they couldn't stand a white woman being with a black man. Now, a white man could be with a black woman. That was right on. But you let a white woman try to be with a black man, that black man stood the chance of being lynched. But what got me is this: a new race of people were developed out of these relationships. And the inclusive term was colored, COLORED. Now, these colored people, you want to talk about racial divisions? A lot of it started there because, see, if you were biracial or quadroon or octoroon, you were better than a darker black. And I bring this up with this kind of emphasis because some of this foolishness is right in the modern age. Can you dig it? A new race up. Look at yourself. All of you listen to me. Look at yourself, okay? Understand that the original Africans enslaved in this country, and I'm getting ready to go to Asada right now because I do not want to miss the opportunity of reading Asada. She's very important. In any event, but I really want this colored issue to be on your mind, all right? Because you got to dispel some of that foolishness. All right, well, she dark. I want a bright color. But I've heard people say these things. Where do you think this nonsense comes from? It comes from the enslavement of black people in white racist America. You are being like a white racist person. When you think such things, there's beauty in all of us. Every last one of us. Black is beautiful. This is what we used to sing in the Panthers. When Huey was facing the gas chamber and we were determined to get him out, and we did, we used to sing, Black is beautiful, free Huey. Oh, all right. I'm going to stop because I want to get to Asada, and it's very easy when I get to talking and preaching that I don't get to all the books I want to. Asada. If you don't know Asada, look her up. Asada. Member of the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, and later the Black Liberation Army. Hello, your real heroes. All right, where are we? Okay, she's in jail now. Okay. The food in the workhouse was horrible. Actually, it was disgusting. The food there is worse than the food in any jail that I have been in since, and that is quite an accomplishment. I would sit and wait for lunch or dinner, hungry as hell, and they would bring me some greenish brown iridescent chunks floating around in a watery liquid. Liver stew, they called it, or some lamb fat floating around in some water, which was supposed to be lamb stew. And that nasty looking, foul smelling stuff tasted much worse than it looked. The place was infested with flies, and so was the food. The only thing edible was eggs, when they had them, and mashed potatoes. I lived off the nuts and candy I bought from the commissary and the fruit my family brought on visits. Every single day for one whole week, they brought us this nasty stuff that was supposed to be ravioli. Well, that was the last straw. We all decided to go on a food strike. I wrote a petition, which everybody signed, and we sent it down to the warden's office. Later, the warden agreed to discuss making the food more edible, but he refused to talk to me. He said the fact that I had referred to the food as slop showed I was unreasonable. The food was better for a few days, and then it reverted to the same old nasty slop. The woman sheriff's office who guarded me had to be the oldest dumb blonde alive. She played the part to a bus. She was nosy and was the world's biggest gossip. Every time she saw me, she smiled and pretended to be, oh, so friendly. One day, some workmen were drilling a big hole in the wall to install new electrical circuits. Of course, as soon as she came in, the nosy sheriff's officer began her questions. What are they building? I said, haven't you heard? Well, you know, they passed a special law and they're going to execute me. They're building the gas chamber now. What? She said indignantly. Well, nobody told me about it. And she rushed off to find out why no one had informed her. The lights were turned off every night at 10. I was lucky because there was a night switch that I controlled in the bathroom adjacent to my cell. I would move the cot so that I was in as much light as possible. And I would read, and I would read, and I would read way into the night. She would read, okay? When Malcolm X was in jail, what did he do? He read. He read. He read. This is again one of the reasons why I created Readings with Regina and why I literally read books to you. Some of your greatest Black people, men and women, they were readers. Ida B. Well was a reader. Linda Brent, who escaped and is escaping slavery, was a read. They read. And I'm emphasizing this. Why? Because this country does not want you to read. Can you dig it? They don't want you to read books. And you should read books. Get off that phone. The phones are cool. Kindles are cool. I got a Kindle. But read a book. This is what Asada did. She did that in school. She did that in the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense. She did that in the Black Liberation Army. Black people, you must read because this country wants you stupid. It wants you stupid. Let me show you also this, my thumbnail. You see that brother in the far right corner? We are our own liberators. That's Jalil Mutakim, who walked and talked with Asada. Remember the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense and then into the Black Liberation Army. This is his book. We are our own liberators and people. That is the truth. Who in the world is going to better Black people but Black people? I want you smart. I want you smarter than me. I want you to learn geography so that you can know where these countries are that the United States invades. The United States is a satanic country. Don't you understand that? Israel, they love blood. They love blood. I'm about life and love and people and children. But you have these monsters on this earth that just want to kill, 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 bomb, bomb, bomb. What did that man in the White House say? Didn't he say we're going to bomb Iran back to the Stone Age? What kind of sick criminal mind would even say such a thing? I want you to know geography. I want your children to know geography. Get a globe so that your children and you can really see the various parts of the earth that are vague to you. All right, brothers and sisters, I am so happy that I am right on time. I really like to end Readings with Regina in 30 minutes. And I want to point out to you in that time today, I've read 3 books to you. 3. And I've talked about other books because I want you to know that reading can be done within a half hour, within 15 minutes, within an hour. Reading will enhance your brain. It will make you more intellectually sharp. How many of you are writing? And I don't mean like a writer, a poet, or anything like. No. How many of you are using your writing skills? Because let me tell you what this country wants. It wants you to stop learning how to write. And if you do not write, then your writing skills will leave you. Do you hear me, people? A journal, get a journal. Do it. Read and write. Where did I leave off with Asada? She was reading. She was reading. All right, brothers and sisters, you know how much I adore you. Absolutely. Okay. I meditate every day and every night. And in that meditation, I pray for you. I pray for your success. I want you to recreate yourself to the best that you could be and recreate your children and your children's children. This, I honestly believe, is one of the major reasons why you were sent to earth. I love you dearly. I look forward to seeing you next week, next Tuesday at 2 o'clock, same time, same place. You be blessed, do something good for yourself, and do something great for your people. Bye now.